Hello everyone, and welcome to TechEd 2022, the SAP event experience for developers and IT professionals. In the next 25 minutes, I will be taking you on a journey to the future of enterprise software and show you how enterprises can build and scale their business as they go by transforming into a composable enterprise. My name is Martin Heinig, and I'm the head of New Ventures and Technologies at SAP, an engineering department that is chartered with exploring long-term opportunities and new technologies at SAP. So let's go and have a look at how the next 3 to 5 years could look like in terms of enterprise software and how we can make it a reality. To shape a new generation of enterprise software, we combine market opportunities, customer needs, and emerging technologies to create positive impact for our customers. On the technology side, for example, we explore and validate blockchain, Web 3.0, quantum computing, new and innovative cloud architectures, extended reality, the next generation of AI, or data privacy, just to name a few. We leverage those technologies to build early-stage solutions to address potential opportunities in 3 key areas: future of business networks, future of business decisions, and future of business processes. These themes are a condensed view of SAP's long-term innovation strategy, which consists of topics where we see the highest impact and new possibilities for running businesses. It serves as a framework for our projects, prototypes, and potential products. With Future of Business Networks, we focus on agility with the goal of optimizing processes like onboarding of new companies or enabling trusted carbon data sharing. It is about managing resource and finance flows seamlessly across ecosystems. In the past, these flows used to be rather stable, whereas now, and even more so in the future, these flows are strongly influenced by shocks and require rapid adjustment. This represents the next level of ERP-based company steering as it goes beyond company boundaries. Within the future of business decisions, we prioritize data-driven decision-making. Here, it is all about shortening time to insight and time to action. Our vision is to enable the system to automatically detect when an action is required and to provide the user with pre-calculated and contextualized decision options. This represents the next level of decision-making through automation and user augmentation. The last pillar of our strategy is about the future of business processes. Let me dive deeper into this topic for the rest of this session. To do this, we must ask ourselves the question, why is it challenging to actively manage business processes? The last 2 years have painfully shown us the power and spread uncontrollable disruptions can have on society and business. Business models that have been in place for years suddenly became fragile. Decision makers were forced to change course quickly, and they will have to continue to do so. Unfortunately, changing established business processes today often requires a huge effort in implementation, time, and money. This is the case because process landscapes are often very complex and not flexible. The business is built around a prescribed set of workflows dictated by different software systems. Let's take a closer look into the challenges our customers are facing today. We see several business needs with our customers on one side and shortcomings of today's software to meet the needs on the other side, which ultimately hinder innovation. As we all know, the world changes at an increasing speed, which forces organizations to constantly adapt their business processes accordingly. These changes often even go to the extent of disrupting existing business models, which require organizations to immediately react to keep operations running. Additionally, both technology advances and business model changes create new business opportunities that organizations need to leverage to stay competitive in the market. Lastly, all external factors aside, most organizations are driven by an unremitting demand for optimization and day-to-day business. Today's enterprise software often falls short in serving these needs. This is for 2 major reasons. First, software architectures and designs often don't support the agility and efficiency in process changes that organizations need as the software itself is not flexible and agile enough. Secondly, process models are often just treated as documentation artifacts and are disconnected from the actual process implementation. This makes changes cumbersome, as modeling and implementation need to be aligned between business user and developers. This also often causes that process models and implementation get out of sync, and documentation of the actual process implementation and execution is of poor quality and therefore rarely used. Ultimately, this hinders organizations to implement improvements in an efficient way. Changing processes typically results in costly long-term implementation projects with significant development efforts. Even implementing process mining or analytics tools today is not available as a standard installation, but requires, again, an implementation project to pull all required data and process insights. With these challenges in mind, we have developed our vision for a software platform of the future. We firmly believe that there must be a better way to handle change of business processes. Also, our customers and partners are asking for this. They respond that SAP needs to continue its investment into a strong platform. It will be the lifeline for business processes across SAP and beyond. When business processes meet cloud platform capabilities, we imagine composable process orchestration functionality for the business technology platform. Let me share what we mean by that. Gartner says the future of business is composable. We as SAP would like to build future enterprise systems to handle composability in order to support our customers in running a composable business. Simply speaking, we want to come to a point where we have packaged business functionality across our solution portfolio that we can assemble and rearrange like building blocks. We are currently driving one project that explores this concept of composability. Within this project, we want to test these 4 hypotheses. Is it possible to compose processes dynamically and rearrange them as needed without specialist knowledge and a developer at hand? Can we define fully modular and standardized business processes and execute them? How attractive would a marketplace for business process modules be? And finally, can we establish a new consumption experience, including a suitable pricing model? But composability is not a property that a system either has or doesn't. It is about certain qualities that the platform we envision needs to fulfill. We want to enable customers to manage and adapt processes as needed with predefined components. This way, customers can react faster without the need for costly implementation. At the same time, we enable non-technical users to execute these changes end-to-end. Also, we want our platform to be compatible end-to-end, which means customers should be able to leverage standardized processes and entity definitions to integrate external services, with increased automation potential based on standardized process performance indicators, and cross-company processes based on event-driven, document-centric process execution. The platform itself must also ensure consistency and reliability by default, so you can rely on standard quality guidelines for SAP's best practices and third-party content, and are able to automatically compare process performance with industry KPIs. Lastly, the integration of partner and third-party offerings should be seamless via a marketplace. This set of qualities established the idea of a joint platform ecosystem, bringing together customers, partners, and SAP. For these 3 groups, we see a lot of value by taking part in this paradigm shift. Customers can build on a strong core of standardized functionality with a rich repository of business object capabilities and process templates, with end-to-end processes that can be created and rearranged in a building block fashion. They can quickly react to change, have built-in compliance at all times, and only pay for what they are using. For partners, it could even be a completely new revenue channel and allows for extending their customer base to the entire SAP ecosystem. Many partners have modularized their custom applications. So we see a great opportunity to turn this into reusable components. And of course, also SAP should do that for a good reason. If we manage to deliver a strong foundation of prepackaged business functionality along the end-to-end process definitions, defining a solid standard for unified consumption and allow for reliable development experience, we believe that this would greatly improve development agility. It is a bold step, with still a lot of uncertainties along the way, but we continue exploring this path to shape the next generation of platform experience. The idea of integration is to bring together a set of systems to work as one. Different activities are taken out, one after the other, which is called a business process. As long as a business process runs in only one system, things are easy. But what happens when an end-to-end process crosses the boundaries of different software systems, maybe even from different vendors? It is usually not straightforward. Individual integrations have to be built. Often a middleware is introduced that deals with those point-to-point integrations. Things are getting even more complex when functionality needs to be adapted and side effects of certain activities need to be observed and adjusted accordingly. We envision things to be different. If we think of integration as a problem that can be handled on a platform level and not within applications, some things need to be redone initially, but will be much more open to change afterwards. If we collect, formalize, align, and aggregate end-to-end process content and achieve a mapping of modeling artifacts to implemented functionality, we lift potential for reuse and extension. If we have functionality packaged into business capability, we can easily analyze, optimize, and scale. If a business capability is modeled and implemented with a clear definition of functionality and business objects involved, it can be handled almost as flexible as an app on your smartphone. To help you understand what this practically means, let me share an example on how a process on a composable process platform could be changed. This is a rather oversimplified example for an invoicing scenario consisting of different business capabilities within the order-to-invoice sub-process. Usually, changing a single process step would require customization and sometimes even a redesign of the entire process. Imagine your company is doing business with a partner who now wants to receive their invoices in a fully electronic and compliant manner, e.g. from a public sector customer. To do so, you would need to extend your existing order-to-invoice process. Ideally, you would use a third-party service that very simply plugs into your running process. Still, this requires development effort on your end that certainly affects your time to market. Now let's imagine your entire process landscape is running on a composable process platform. The process definitions are derived from a standard SAP template and customized to your specific needs. If you want to change the process, for instance, to include a compliant electronic dispatch of invoices, you just need to plug in the respective business capability into the process. Integration of the different capabilities is no longer a separate task, but built into the platform. The system will be compliant, the process will be consistent, and business objects are automatically mapped according to their semantic fit. That way, changes can be applied in minutes instead of months, and it only needs the process expert instead of a team of developers. Thus, the capabilities and activities are directly representatives of software components and no longer only act as documentation artifacts. Let me show you how this could look like.
Let's imagine the following scenario. You're a business process expert working for Cable King, a manufacturer of electronic components. One day, you get this message from your manager. They want you to find a way to send your invoices electronically with a digital signature to your customers in Germany to reduce the carbon footprint. This requires a change to the order-to-invoice business process. Let's explore what SAP or their partners are offering in the process marketplace. Here, you'll search for e-invoices Germany. Let's have a look at the top result to check if it fits our need. In this page, you'll see a preview of the module that dispatches invoices electronically via the PEPAL service. You also see possible configurations, making customization easy while still preserving the standard of the process. Apparently, most of your customers are ready to use PEPAL as a dispatching mode. Looks like it's a good fit. We'll use the preview feature of the platform to see how it works in our order-to-invoice process in the EMEA region. To not interrupt your running system and business processes, changes will be first applied in a branched version of the process, making it easy for you to preview the changes while remaining fully operational. In the process modeling view, you see the three options for the dispatch invoice activity. Next to your usual options, dispatch via PEPAL has been added to the top. For each of them, you can now configure usage rules through modifiers like customer type or country. Now we can start the activation by merging the created process with the currently running system. To avoid any complications, the feasibility as well as compliance of the process are automatically checked before the rollout takes place. Looks good, so let's activate. Great, the activation was successful. From now on, your customers will have the option to receive their invoices digitally. Checking the analytics a couple of weeks later, we can already see the impact of our process improvement, with less printed invoices and more e-invoices also via PEPAL. And here you go. We've edited, configured, and activated our composable order-to-invoice process in about 3 minutes. Not bad, right?
I hope the demo has given you a slight insight into our vision of the future. We really want to make this big vision reality, together with our customers and partners. So this is what we currently do. Prototypical implementations to get an idea about the pros and cons of certain technology choices and to push the boundaries of what is possible. And mock-ups for researching the end-to-end user experience. It is important to mention that with this exploratory project, we start rather on a green field, but we are well aware that this needs to be implemented considering legacy landscapes with very diverse setups as well, especially as it is important to us to see the process expert more in charge of handling change. We are addressing the question of how much we can push down the boundary to actually implement change also as a non-technical user. With the technical prototype, we want to create and validate our ideas of a new architecture. Just like during the early days of HANA, we allow ourselves the question, does it really have to be like this? By developing prototypes, constantly questioning our technology choices and concepts, we want to come to a solidified requirements for the to-be platform on a foundation of components that can be run and consumed on the platform. We want to find out to which degree and to which granularity does it work best for modularized process execution. How can we ensure flexible exchange of functionality to create end-to-end agility? And how far can we go with using the same artifacts for modeling and execution? On a high level, the prototype architecture consists of a set of unified UIs that needs to cater for, the role of process owner who is dealing with modeling and changing processes, a participant who is executing business functionality, and a developer who wants to implement process functionality using a platform-level integration approach. Next, a universal data layer, which keeps track of consistency with a global unified domain model and abstracts across customized implementations of standardized functionality. Packaged business capabilities that are the runtime containers which keep functionality, UI, and data as one unit of deployment. A workflow engine that triggers the execution of business processes within capabilities. And the so-called process orchestrator as a moderator between eventing on a lower level, the data layer, the business capabilities, and the actual workflows. As the approach of a composable process platform looks quite radical, we also see that for a lot of functionality, there are already products in the SAP ecosystem that could be used. For modeling processes, we can now leverage the power of SAP Signavio. The user interface for the various participants can be built using the Fiori UI design concepts. SAP Business Application Studio can be leveraged as a development environment As a workflow management system, SAP Process Automation could be the technology of choice. For realizing the universal data layer, including the processes themselves and the domain model, SAP One Domain Model and the SAP API Business Hub can be used. For eventing, SAP has the SAP Event Mesh. And for running containerized business capabilities, the SAP BTP offers a variety of runtimes. But one question remains: what is still missing? Let me mention 5 challenging areas where we would explore further in the upcoming project phases. Number 1, a unified domain model, which means a description of business objects as they are used within different business domains. Ultimately, this boils down to data structures in a database, but also the meaning the semantics of a business object have to be defined to make them reusable across domains. Number 2, modularization of applications into capabilities needs to be handled very differently depending on solutions. There are areas in the SAP portfolio which are designed very modular and can be adapted with minimal effort. Depending on the granularity of functional units, it might also make sense to rebuild parts of applications. The goal is the same for every component, no matter if they come from SAP or from a partner or a customer. We want functionality to be described according to business process models and thereby allow reuse of functionality as much as possible. Number 3, this can only work if processes are clearly and formally defined and execution of functionality is based on a formal model from end to end. The interplay of process content and interfaces in implemented systems in the form of business capabilities has to be aligned. That may be the most challenging part for managing such a platform. Number 4, user interfaces are the entry point for users. If we want a seamless experience, we need to enforce standards on the platform. We think it would be a good idea to think about micro front ends within the business capabilities and an overarching user interface as the face of the platform, embedding the capabilities. And lastly, number 5, something that matters most for customers and partners. How can I contribute and how would I consume content and functionality from such a platform? We want this to be an open marketplace, with contributions coming not only from one vendor, but from the entire ecosystem of enterprise software vendors, which are combined alongside enterprise resource planning, processes, and adjacent domains. As we need to ensure consistency, reliability, and compliance for the end-to-end processes, we need to make sure every component follows the product standards for a capability on the platform, from usability to performance to auditability in the end. In a nutshell, our customers expect business technology to meet their needs, to adapt to changing business models and processes, to be robust and interconnected, yet also secure. Therefore, our mission is to future-proof SAP by constantly being aware of new business trends and new technologies, and then finding out how to apply them to create value for our customers through their SAP systems. Ultimately, this is our approach for going beyond. Thank you so much for listening today. Please join us in the upcoming live Q&A for any questions, comments, or discussion points to jointly bring this vision to life. I hope you're enjoying TechEd so far and wish you lots of fun for the rest of the event. Continue your learning journey by checking out other sessions in TechEd. Here's my contact information if you have any questions. Thank you for attending. Have fun at TechEd.